So let's look at the reason why you might not be losing weight. So you've been trying the diet and you follow the protocol of calories in, calories out. Many people believe that the less calories that comes in and the more you actually burn, you are going to create a deficit of energy and therefore you should be losing weight. And the reality, it work. If you take a person that is eating too many calories and sitting on his butt all day long, which most of us do, you are going to obviously create a deficit if you cut 500, 600 calories of the usual intake. And this is going to create weight loss. The key is to maintain the weight loss because obtaining weight loss can be quite difficult, but the key is to maintain it after we've lost the weight. And that's when many people fall short because they will lose the weight and then regain. They lose the weight, they regain. Many companies, the big companies like Jenny Craig or things like this, they are using this protocol where basically what they do is they just tell you to eat less calories. They sell you their honestly crap food, and then they hope that you're going to lose weight because you're going to reduce obviously what you typically eat. The reality is that it works really in labs, but we have to remember that we are human beings, and so therefore there are many different dynamics in the body that can promote weight loss or prevent weight loss, right? So it's not just about the calories that comes in, the calories that comes out. The type of food matters also because we cannot go with the principle that 100 calories coming from Oreo cookies or 100 calories from an apple is going to do the same thing in the body. This is absolutely ridiculous to think something like this. The message that we're sending, the information that we are taking in is going to be completely different. And so when we have a situation when we are not able to lose weight despite reducing calories, despite eating less bad food, and nothing moves, then this is when we have to start thinking as the body as something different than just a machine that would just use calories to function, right? So one of the things I see a lot is people forget that we are sending signals to the body on a regular basis, right? So the body is always going to try to do what is best for us. It's always going to try to thrive in the environment in which we are asking it to live. And so if we are sending the signals to the body that are, for example, a lot of toxicity, a lot of stress, a lot of like ruminating thoughts, a lot of bad food, then we cannot expect the body to behave in a manner that is going to be pleasant, right? So it is just very unnatural. And it's really often something that I discover when I discuss with my client is that they have false expectation. We need to start helping the body to lose the weight, right? Because in this wisdom, the body likes to keep fat in a way because fat is a protective suit in terms of what the body thinks. If the body senses stress, it is going to want to preserve fat because it's a mechanism that it has inside of it. And so if we start thinking about the body as being, not a machine, but more as what it really is a mind and many different organs that work and depend on each other, then we're going to have a very different picture on how weight behaves on our body or not. And so my 5 things about the weight loss are going to be linked to how the body need to function as a whole, right? So if one of the systems does not work well, then it's going to cause the other systems to really not function well. And it's like a symphony, right? So if you have one player, a musician player, that is having a bad note, then it's going to cause the other players to actually go wrong, and it's going to be a really bad music, really. So what I want to say to you today is that if if you do have difficulty losing weight, if you seem to be always regaining the weight, if you seem to be stuck and nothing moves, then you need to look further behind the calorie, because if you've been trying so many diets and then you keep regaining and nothing works, is that something is eaten, something is impairing your body from losing weight. And in my opinion, with what I've seen so far with my clients and my practice, I see 5 different things. The number one is going to be a dysregulation of your sugar and insulin system. So if you have too much sugar in your blood, which many people actually do have, but they're not aware of it, or if you have, let's say, a high insulin or not enough insulin, then this can actually cause you to not lose weight. Because if you have a high blood sugar or high insulin, then what happens is your body is not going to be able to use fat for energy, and then you cannot lose fat because your body is always constantly going to burn the sugar first. That's my number one. My number two is going to be cortisol. Cortisol is a hormone of stress. It's a master hormone, and of course, many people think that it is a bad thing. It's a bad hormone, that we shouldn't have cortisol. And in fact, this is quite the opposite. Cortisol is a really, really important hormone, and actually, without it, we would be dead. And so, what we have to think of cortisol is we want to have regulated. We don't want too much of it. We don't want none of it. It's never a good thing for the body to be having too much of one thing or not of another. And we always want to thrive for balance, right? So having cortisol is necessary, but we have cortisol all day long, pumping up every day in, every day out, then this is going to cause a lot of problem in the body. Like cortisol, high cortisol, low cortisol is going to affect your digestion, affect the nutrients that come into your body. It's going to affect your thyroid. It's going to affect your adrenal glands. There's so many things that the cortisol can do in the body that it can be good but also bad. And in terms of weight loss, this is going to increase your blood sugar particularly, and it's also going to lower your function of your thyroid, and so this is going to be ultimately preventing you from losing weight. The number three, I think, is I will put if you have estrogen that is imbalanced, right? So many women particularly are going to think that estrogen is bad. Again, there's nothing in the body that God put in us that it was intended to be bad. So, and estrogen, it belongs to that category where we've taken estrogen and think that estrogen is a really bad thing, we should get rid of it, it's giving us cancer, when in reality, estrogen is absolutely necessary for the human health, including for men for that matter. It's good for the heart, it's good for the bones, and so getting rid of estrogen completely is a really bad thing. Estrogen can, in fact, if you are having, let's say, too much of it, and it's not so much sometimes of having too much, but it's having the estrogen that is not balanced with the other hormones, that is going to create a problem. And so that can also cause a problem and prevent you from losing weight, because we have to remember that estrogen is an hormone of growth. It grows boobs, it grows tissues, it grows babies, right? It grows fast cells, and it's so important to regulate it. My number four is going to be I would say the thyroid. The thyroid is big when it comes to weight loss, because thyroid plays multiple functions in the body, but a sluggish thyroid is going to be causing very sluggish weight loss. And many people are very badly diagnosed when it comes to thyroid because they're not being checked properly. They do not get the proper blood test to see really what's going on with the thyroid. Most people just get the TSH, which is absolutely not enough to know if your thyroid is working or not. If you have a slow thyroid, it's going to be a bad situation for weight loss. It's going to affect your blood sugar. It's going to affect your cholesterol. It's really something that you want to look into. Sometimes people don't know what it feels like to not have a good thyroid function, but it is going to be affected also if, for example, you have high estrogen, it's going to affect your thyroid. High blood sugar is going to affect your thyroid. High cortisol will affect your thyroid. And so we need to look into this. And I think the last one I want to talk about is toxicity. So we have a lot of toxicity around us. In fact, we're living in a toxic soup, I say all the time to my client. And so we need to understand that toxicity is going to cause the body a lot of impairment. It is going to cause the body to have blockage. It is preventing the body from functioning optimally. It is affecting the thyroid. It is affecting the way we detoxify, all kinds of things that block the body. So we need to really look into this to see how it affects the methylation, how it affects every cells of the body. Because if we have this blockage, if we have this impairment from toxicity, we need to learn how to not bring on board so much toxicity, and also how to help the body get rid of those toxins. So it goes both ways. So these are my 5 things for people who have difficulty losing weight. Again, it's going to be the blood sugar and the insulin regulation. It is going to be the cortisol. It is going to be the thyroid. It's going to be toxicity, and it's going to be estrogen imbalances. I hope you learned something from this video. If you want to know more, if you want to understand what is going to cause in your body this difficult weight loss, what's at play in your unique body, please take advantage of my 1-hour complimentary session that you can book on my website at nataliekeenhealthcoaching.com, so we can go together and start looking into what's impairing your body, what's blocking it from losing weight, and what's causing it to actually gain so much weight, or perhaps what's happening when it comes to keeping your weight balanced and sustained once you've lost the weight. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, just please give me a like down in the bottom and subscribe to my channel, so the next time I have a video like this, I'll be able to just let you know. You'll get a little message that let you know I'm on. All right, thank you very much, and take care of your body.